Hi everyone, we're back again. We had a break, but welcome to Apulu here, who's actually from Samoa and Auckland, and we're just having a discussion. We're doing a couple of practices, but it's been really good talking about. In fact, maybe we can go back to when we first met.
Yeah.
We met. I was working at National University of Samoa, Faculty of Education, and in fact I was overseas, because I know what year it was 2001.
Yes.
Because I was over in Christchurch doing my Masters, and that was when you started at FOE. Yeah.
At FOE.
How did you get that job?
I needed something to come back to Samoa. My parents were here, they were whiwhiaus in Savaii. They were in their 60s, late 60s, and I needed to come here. So I got the job, and that's
You
how
applied from overseas?
I applied from overseas. So, and I brought my 3 young kids over. They were 3, 10, and
3 years old?
Yulia was about 3 years
Wow.
old, 10. Essie would have been about 10 or 11, and then Gus he went straight into Form 4 at Samoa College, and that's where he met Manaki, but at Faculty of Education, the office they gave me, the next office next door to me was locked, and I said, "Oh, whose office is that?" And they said, "Oh, Susan Whaongali," and I said, "Whaongali, I know that name," and obviously, and that's the thing. That's why names are important. Samoan names are important, because as soon as they say Whaongali,
Location,
it locates you and it connects you. So, for example, when they said to me Whaongali, I immediately knew that's a Matai title from Si'umu. I'm from Si'umu. And I've grown up, I've known that name all the time, because when you grow up, you kind of know all these title names and things, and that comes from knowing who you are and where you've come from and what village you're from. So that's why names are important. It's not just about connecting you, but it's also about locating you and how you move around there. So it was something like 3 or 6 months then when you came back, and then and that's where we just kind of hit it off from there. And it turns out that our dads were friends. And we've been friends ever since. And same as you've done really well, Susan, to keep all our staff or ex-staff as we are now together and having your regular catch-ups. So it's good to see Ngātarai. She always inspires me, that woman. Ngātarai Tili, she always inspires me. And when when we went to breakfast with her the other day when you organised that, wow, she's still
the same too, yeah.
And you look at women like her and you think, so many smart, hard-working women like her, and you're so proud, just so proud.
I love, absolutely. And
I saw Epe today, and and you think about these women have taught thousands and thousands and thousands of Samoan students.
This is the old West TC that became Faculty of Education.
Yes,
And we'd arranged to have breakfast last week, and Kalala came into the country, and then on the Wednesday morning it was pouring down with rain, and someone else had texted and says, "I'm sorry, I can't come to this morning," and someone else had a class, so it was just me and Ngātarai Tili at the time. So I texted and said, "Can we do it another day? It is a stormy day, and then and then I did the message, and then we sat down and I think we made a coffee and we were sitting here, and then I sent that message, and then Tilly goes, "I'm here, are you coming?" I went, "Oh, okay, Lala, let's get dressed." We're on, when Tilly says come, you get dressed and you go. It was so funny. It was lovely, wasn't it? Yeah.
I'm inspired by women like that, and there are so many of them in Samoa, and I come back, and any time I can get just to listen to them and just be replenished by the amount of work that they do, and the integrity and the passion and that whole commitment, loto Samoa, loto nu'u, the heart of being Samoan that exudes from these women. Hey, it's just so powerful, and it's like everything, as we say, in Samoa. And the men might be the ones out the front doing all the talking, and quite frankly, I wouldn't just talk kaka all the time. But it's women, doing all that background work that are You know, just so inspiring. And I mean, for me, you know, I think always about the history of Samoa, you know. There's huge precedents there, you know. I was talking to someone just recently before I came over, and they were doing a project about Ngāwhanua, and we were talking about, you know, the big thing, you know, people overseas want to talk about Ngāwhanua, but it's understanding what that means and who she is, and, you know, she was not just the war goddess, she was also a prophet, you know. So in terms of our religious, our spiritual thing, she prophesied and she, you know, she foretold of events to come. And you think about that, you know, the vision behind that, and you know, she's most famous for the fact that she was you know, she was the war goddess of Samoa, and that at one time, you know, everyone went to seek her assistance. But you know, there are other attributes about our woman, that they're so dynamic, you know, that she wasn't this, you know, Ngāwhanua wasn't just a war goddess, she was also a prophet, she was, you know, and she was a daughter. She was a daughter who responded to, you know, the request of her people who were being oppressed, and she fought the battle on her own, and the enemies didn't realise they were fighting a woman until they got to a particular place, and the wind blew up her kipuka and her breasts were showing, and they went, and to this day that particular location is called Malay o le Ma, the place of the Malay of shame, when the men realised they were getting their asses kicked by a woman, you know? And so there's this wonderful tapestry of you know, individual women and groups of women. You know, this Samoan in the villages, the backbone of the villages are the whaletua matausi, the wives of the matai, and the tamaitai of any village. And we see that in our own families, you know. I'm going home tomorrow to my village in Siumu, and I've got an auntie who's, you know, she's just the powerhouse of our village, and that's not, she doesn't do all the speaking, but she's the provider, she's the hunter, she's the fisher, she's the gardener, and then in an instant she's also the hostess, you know, and her roles just change all the time, you know, her roles are, she's the advisor, you know, of our family, you know, the multiple roles that these women live their lives by is just, you know, amazing. I mean, you know, when I talk about these women that we, you know, our friends at Faculty of Education, our staff there, you know, we only know them in one facet as our colleagues, our education colleagues, but they hold many roles and many responsibilities, and so that's the thing about understanding who we are, is that we're very dynamic, and I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a daughter, I'm a niece, I'm a granddaughter, I'm a, you know, before I'm even a matai, you know, I'm a wife, and those roles and responsibilities are, so there are many opportunities for us to play out those roles and really, yeah.
Even today when we were driving around and we went into the wrong driveway looking for an Airbnb house, and as we're going out, I said to the guy, "Nice garden," and he went, "Not me, it's my mum." I went, and I can't remember if I said, "Oh, of course it is," you know, because it's that whole gardening. I must admit, I'm getting into gardening in my middle age. I absolutely love it. Anything grows over here, just stick it in the ground and it grows. I love it.
But yeah, I guess, you know, that's the thing, is understanding this. And when you understand the heritage, the deep, rich heritage of that we come from, I mean, what's there not to love about being Samoan? Why wouldn't you walk with pride? Why wouldn't you speak with pride? Why wouldn't you, you know?
Let's do that. Let's do what did you say? Why wouldn't you walk with pride? Speak with pride. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah.
I think when you understand our ancestors and who...
Or even if you don't understand, unless you feel it, you know, when you come over, you absolutely feel it.
Yeah, I mean, even in overseas, you know, like, you know, it's hard, as, you know, in terms of labour migration and mobility and that, you know, we had the big overstay issues in the, you know, in the 1980s, where so many Samoans,
which we remember, hello.
Yeah, after the Dawn raids, and so, but you know, it was one woman who took her case to the Privy Council.
Oh, that what happened?
The Lissar case, with, you know, with the aid of her lawyer. She had the guts to take her case all the way to the Privy Council.
Wow.
And they came back with a decision in favour of her that all Samoans, as of I think,
are citizens.
Yes, citizens.
I remember
that. And of course, then
like
and then quickly,
80 something, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, they quickly
changed it
because you know it was just too much for Muldoon, and our poor government, you know, had no choice but to concede to those concessions that they were demanding. You know, that's the nature of us Samoans. As you know, there's a barrier, you find a way around it. You don't just say, "Oh my God, I can't do this." I always remember my dad saying to me, "There's no such thing as I can't." You know,
wow.
meaning find a way around it.
Make it happen is one of my sayings I had last year. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Or it will happen.
Yeah.
Or something like that, yeah.
But you find a way, and I think that's the thing about prayer, is that in your prayers you're calling on your spirit, but you're also calling your intellect and your emotional being to motivate, to strengthen you, and then you put it into action and things. So I think that's the thing about being Samoan, is remembering our duality, that we're spiritual as well as physical, and those things have to go together when you're all out, you know, and that, yeah. And
that's one of the things I think that's absolutely one of the things that comes to the front when you're in Samoa, do you think, or when you, because I've lived in, you come and go, but you've lived here but come and go, but I've lived here since, 20, 30 years, but it's that whole duality thing that you actually, I think you feel it when you come. You absolutely feel it when you come, and I haven't thought of New Zealand as my home for 30 years. In 2 years' time, it's been 30 years since I moved here.
The idea of the whanua, land, is the Samoan word for land, but it's also the same word for placenta, for the placenta.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The other name for land is ele.
Wow.
Ele is also the same word for blood.
No!
Yeah.
Wow.
Toto, so the idea of that we are the land is connected intrinsically to the whanua, so when Samoans, when a baby is born, we take the placenta and we bury it in the land, and when the umbilical cord falls off, we bury that in the land. So we, all my grandchildren, all 9 of them have their placentas and their umbilical cords buried here, either in my family, my husband's family, or their parents.
What do you mean, you bring it back?
We bring it back.
Wow.
When I brought my mum back in to be buried here, she bought quite
That's another whole story. I was there for that. It was lovely. Yeah.
We had quite a few of our children that were born in that time. When they're born in the hospital, that's the thing. Please, can I have the baby's placenta? Can you give me the baby's cord? And and then I put it in the freezer and wait till a time when I can come over and I bring it. But it happened. Mum had died in New Zealand. We were bringing her body over, and so we put all that. 3 or 4 of our grandchildren that had been born in that time, we put them in with her coffin, and they're sitting here with her. So the idea is that they keep her warm. And they're buried with her.
That was a fabulous time. It was because we all lived through COVID, and then during the end of COVID, that's when you came over. It was so special to have you come over and do that. You and your sister came over. More people couldn't come because of we still had a lockdown, didn't we? We had a lockdown here, but it was so special to be there with you when you did that.
Yeah, my mum died. We went into lockdown. The first lockdown in New Zealand was April. Mum passed away in May. So this day, 5th of May, 2020. Yeah, so it's 4 years now.
No, today.
Yeah. Anyway, she'd always said to us, and because Dad passed away here, and we buried him here at his family land in 2002. So we knew it was going to be a long journey to bring her home, but I was committed to bringing her here no matter what. And so she was with us. She was embalmed by my husband's cousin who was an undertaker, and him and his family looked after Mum that 7 months while I climbed every mountain and valley to get my mum here. I wrote to every politician, I wrote to everyone that I could. Eventually I wrote to Tuilaepa, who was the Samoan PM at the time, and I wrote this long story about how my parents, where we started here as a family, we started on that land, and that's the land I was aiming to bring my mum back to, why we left, what we did when we were overseas, and how we continued to that. In the 50 or so years we've been overseas, we kept coming back, for every whakalawe, every church, anything, and so that we've never, to demonstrate that we've never lost that connection with the land. And then I got Jamie to,
Deliver it.
Deliver, and she was a very, very good CEO, and so she was in good standing, and she walked the letter over, and she rang, and I said, Jamie, I will be praying for you for that walk, that little, and then straight away she sent a message saying, the old man he's given instructions to Foreign Affairs.
Oh, wow, almost straight away?
Yeah,
wow.
To start the repatriation, because no one had been repatriated.
No,
and at the time,
there were several, weren't there?
Yeah, there was a whole list of people.
Dreadful.
And when the first list
of
deceased bodies to be repatriated came out, my mum was on the top of the list.
No.
Yeah, so so we brought her back here, and that was a real journey. We came and faced the isolation here, but it was sad because my siblings were all in Australia. They couldn't get to Auckland at all, and so they
couldn't get here for as well.
Yeah, we have that saying during Otangi Mayala. They are crying, and so far away, and mourning for our mum, but. So it was just me and my sister that could come, even her brothers and sisters couldn't come. Came, isolated, as per protocol. And then we timed her coming in on the day that we were released from. And you showed up every day there at ICE when we were in ISO, just to, providing us nice food.
Oh, I love that story.
And
did.
Which we shared with all 10 of us, because there was 10 people per hotel, the ones on this flight.
We gave you books and stuff too.
You gave us books, and everyone came in, and we left them out the front, and everyone just came and had a book and put it back in.
So you were still isolated in the hotel, but they would come and say, I remember you used to say, they'd come and say, what have we got today?
Yes.
Because Ministry of Health would collect it, and then they would Ministry of Health.
You had to
deliver it there. And if you delivered it by 9 o'clock, they would, I did make a mistake and tried to deliver it to the hotel, and they went, I don't think so. So you deliver it early, and they were quite organised, and they wrote everything down, put your name on it, and then I just went back home and waited to see if they delivered, and they did deliver it, didn't they?
Yeah, they were good. And then when we got out, Mum arrived the same day. We went to, she had to go into the morgue, and the next morning the Ministry of Health came and did all their health checks and what. This is the height of COVID, eh? And then the next day we had that service up at Sephora's, and then straight away people said to me, oh, you're going to bring your mum down to the village. I said, no, my mum's been waiting for 7 months to be buried, and we just drove, as we drove straight to the land where Dad had been waiting.
Right.
Dad was waiting,
straight
and we were straight through.
It was lovely too.
So it was interesting, that whole COVID, how that changed some of the cultural practices, and there were people around us that were getting fined, where families were being fined something like $10,000 when they had big gatherings. So at our... So
you kept it small, eh?
Well, we had to. We
wanted to follow the...
We did not want to be the family that brought COVID into Samoa, because there was no COVID in Samoa.
There wasn't,
and that's why we just followed everything to the letter.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we spent another 3 months trying to get home.
That's right. But I've got some photos of that. Do you mind if I put it in when we're talking about this? Yeah, they're lovely, with the tent there and everyone was there. But I also remember you had like a tripod, and you had your phone on it, and you were connected to the
siblings,
to the sisters in Australia.
We were just distraught, so distraught. They couldn't be here, they couldn't touch her, they couldn't. And so
they missed the whole Auckland thing, and then they missed the Samoan one as well.
Yeah.
But I remember, I have a memory of, you talk to your siblings in Australia a lot, but the idea that they were there on the phone talking to the Samoan side was truly amazing. And they just sat there you and I went away at the back to have a rest, and they were still sitting there talking in the middle of the land, and because there's internet there, that's fine. and they were just talking, and you could see them, and they'd show them, and
one of the things, the thing that my younger sister Sina was really good like that. She was always, really. She would be the one that would set up all this, the cameras and things, but I'd have to go straight into, organising things and that. But I think when I look back, and once we buried her, so your whole 7 months, the 7 months was just so much turbulence, and but the
uncertainty too,
uncertainty and fear and anxiety. But the minute we laid her down, there was just this cool breeze that just went through the whanua, and it was like them going,
I'm home.
I'm home.
Oh.
Yeah, and I knew then I knew we'd done the right thing. But and I look back now, and I think I did a little video then, and I might have put it up or not, but I talked about the whole concept of mavaenga. Mavae means parts, to divide or part something. And that's the last will that they, their will is, Samoan parents, our wills are not about, assets. Our wills are, our mavaenga is about giving, instructions for where we want to lay, we want to be, and advice and guidance about how to live together
after you're gone,
after they've gone. And,
wow.
So that was, and for me, her desire, her mavaenga to be brought back home was the driving thing that put me through. I was a wreck. I couldn't function, properly, but on the inside, but on the outside, you just had to get on with it, because, Samoan funerals, it's not about, you can grieve later, girl, but you've got something, to do.
But it was so long for you, because you had the Auckland services and things, and then the wait, and then the approval to come over, and then you had the final farewell in Auckland, and then you came here, I remember.
I think the whole world, the anxiety around COVID and that just added to it. But, on a normal level, people in other countries, they Samoans, in America, as I've learned, they can keep their bodies for 6-7 months while, they're waiting for paperwork and to bring them back to pango or something like that. So it's not unusual, 3-4 months wait. But I guess the whole thing around COVID and, and restrictions, that just made it,
It could have been never. It could have been a no.
Oh, yeah. Well, if we didn't get the permission to bring her, and that was the hardest thing.
Let's go see them tomorrow. Have you been over?
No, I'm waiting to, once we go over the hill,
we'll go.
I'm waiting to go,
Yeah, there's a new road there, so the gate's down, but I went past it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
But let's go. Let's go. We'll go tomorrow morning.
Nice.
Oh, that's lovely. Gosh.
It's raining again outside. Yeah. In Samoa, when it rains, it cools everything down. And that's why things are so lush here, because we get a really good amount of rainfall. But also the soil here is very, very good soil, very volcanic, and we've got a good range of mountains and low-lying land, so everything just thrives here. I learned I still do it now, the way I garden in Auckland is I just cut something, if I do it with a piece of stick, cut a stem off something, and then I just take it home and I plant it, because that's what you do here in Samoa. If you just cut the stem, and plant it, because it's so
it's so fertile too.
Fertile,
We've
lush,
had, and I learned very quickly when I came to Samoa is in rainy season everything grows, and then you cut it back, because the rainy season's going to come back, it's going to grow again. So the first time I had a cutback, someone came and did the cutback, he cut it right back. It was like this much, and it's like, what have you done? That's all right, it'll grow back. And I was furious, and of course what happened? It grew back higher, so we've got a great, what's it called? We've got a great tradition here of cutting everything back, because it just grows again. Yeah. Literally, trees, bushes, anything.
But also letting the land rest as well. That you cut it back and
rest.
Let it rest.
And then it will grow.
It'll grow again. It's a whole science in that, When you grow your taro, you don't pluck, harvest your taro and then grow straight back again and plant straight back again. No, you let let that part of the land rest for a while, and you move on to another part of the land.
Yeah. Wow. Ah, that was a great discussion. What's the time? Do we have another break? What we're going to do is, I think we're going to keep in touch with lots of different stories. I've also had lots of feedback from my nieces here in Samoa about your videos with different groups in New Zealand when it comes to Samoan Language Week, and then you'll do a video, they'll come to you and say, how can you do a video on this? And you did one on tautua. And even my niece, she grew up in Samoa, but she doesn't know all those nuances about things because she's actually not called upon to do that tautua when she's here. But she happened to be in Palmerston North, and every day she had to do something and she wasn't quite sure. And so she said she saved it. She watched it every day, over and over again, just to learn. To learn. Because in fact, if you're not in that situation here in Samoa, you don't actually learn it. You do learn by doing, but if you're not in the situation, you're not taught it.
Well, our grandchildren in Auckland, we start with the basics like tulong, and they're so used to just rushing past us and hey, just grab them by the hand, come back here, lalo upu, hey, tulong, and then teaching them.
But that's also being aware of people around you.
Well, yeah, that's about the va, respecting the sorry le va when they're running past you like that. So it's it is about, and up here is just like Auckland. It's people are moving away from that, and so like even today when we went to the shop, and when I went and I had to walk past those people, to get to the shop door. It was too low.
I do that. I do that. But
it's just what you do. It's and it's respecting that space, and it doesn't matter who they are. And but any time you walk past people.
So I'm really keen to carry on chatting with Kalala, but I've also encouraged Kalala to do her own YouTube channel. Let's get behind it.
Help me.
We're going to get behind it, and it's coming through. It's about sharing everything, but also being able to maybe get some income from it as well. But the whole idea is that you're adding value to other. But telling it, with me, it's telling my own telling stories. But and as it is with you, every time you come here, Kalala, we tell stories. I learn more, but also, I learn because you educate me on different things. But
it's called whaasoa, sharing. Sharing. I share those things with you, and there's so many things that you share with me, Susan. I.e. your house. You've fed me, you've housed me for the last week or so. I'm here, and whaasoa. Hey. I was going to say that we're planning, as you know, we're planning to move home, and so I'd like to be doing more of these videos from Samoa, talking about this, and if it helps one person overseas be a better, I think of all our Samoan youth that are struggling and end up in the wrong end of society, if it helps them. I've done a few programs in the prison, and they're rough as guts, but when they walk into our room, they're just different people. They're different young men and young women, because they know that they're there as Samoans. So I hope that's the dream anyway, to be able to move home sometime the end of this year, and then keep doing more of these videos.
Be fabulous. You will do good wherever you go, Kalala, I think. But but and all your family and friends and family and are aware of how good you are anyway. And so we look forward to when you come to Samoa. So sometimes you come in and out of Samoa without telling me you're here because it's so busy doing stuff. But when you rang and say, "Do you need picked up from the airport?" and it was, "Yes, please," I went, "Good, I'm in." Absolutely, anytime, and that. It's a small enough place that you can come in and help, and even when I'm not here, I'm going to call you and say, the house is empty for a couple of weeks, come over, I
know. You've always been generous like that, And I think that's the thing, That's
we help each other out,
Help each other out. Today it's me that needs help with housing, tomorrow, it's something else. If they tell you, because if it's done on a lofa rather than obligation, and you feel that vibe, you sense that it's in your spirit that you're truly welcome here. And that's the idea is don't just tautua for the sake of it because it's an obligation. Tautua serve.
You can tell,
your
can't
heart.
you? Yeah.
You know, we're
Well,
sitting here.
Tautua is tautua, but you can tell. You can tell if it's genuine.
Tautua pa'o, kaukua. Tautua pa'o means we're sitting here and we can hear the pots and pans banging and everything. The doors are banging because
they're annoyed.
The hosts don't want us here, you know. Which,
oh, I've never done that, I hope.
Things that we
Or
teach
you
our children.
too, yeah.
Oh no, oh heck no.
Anyway, we're going to turn off now. We're going to say goodbye. This has been so much fun, and we're just going to keep doing it, I think. And I've got ideas for other people as well. We're talking about stories from Samoa, just amazing. But stories from Samoans from all over the world. So fun, and just their experience. And come back whenever you want, and do your tautua and all that, with the family and stuff. So.
Manuia.